always just going to attack it when like defending.
I think it's like.
Quick late night show recapping everything we've probably heard or you've probably seen in relation to Arsenal. We're all better yet hoping for a here we go where Fabrizio Romano or David Ornstein or anybody's concerning with Victor Gyökeres. The important members of the Victor Gyökeres deal are still in Portugal after the situation got tense. Arsenal could not complete a deal with Sporting on Sunday. The Gunners will continue negotiations today and remain optimistic. That was tweeted earlier today from Romano. There are some rumors that Gyökeres, Sporting Lisbon, and Arsenal would all like to get this wrapped up by Friday, which would be music to me and you lot's ears, because hopefully that means we can focus on our attempts of Rodrigo, potentially Eze. I don't want to mention Madueke, but there's him as well. Apparently, Federico Varandas, the Sporting Lisbon president, refuses to lower the bar to accept Gyökeres' transfer. Arsenal deal will only go ahead for 70 million euros plus 10 million euros for goals. So I assume that means add-ons. What do you lot make of that? To be fair, these outlets have been good in the Swedish paper. Obviously, he plays for Sweden, where Victor Gyökeres is concerned. Gyökeres, Glock 9, what a guy. Apparently, people, an agreement is close. The question is if the extra 5 million euros becomes as a base fee or bonuses. Usually, when such big deals become advanced, it should be resolved in the next few days, as that would be a very surprise. That would be a very surprise if Gyökeres is not an Arsenal player. Fair enough, we're haggling over 5 million. I know some people are saying just run it to them, and I hear that. But if there's a deal to be done, why not, man? It seems there's a willingness from all parties to get it done. Apparently, speaking of Sporting Lisbon's president, Varandas, Victor Gyökeres has personally sent private messages to him asking him to let him move to Arsenal. And all the stuff we're hearing, you know, Gyökeres is doing absolutely everything to get this move. How will Arsenal finance a deal for Eze, people? Now, we've heard indirect personal terms have been agreed or conversations have been said. It's not moving anywhere imminently. Eze will cost 70 million euros, which is about 60 million quid. You could say 68 because there's bonuses in this deal. The Independent reports that Arsenal are working on a way they can afford this amount. Miguel Delaney claims Arsenal would pay 3 installments of 23.33 million to match Crystal Palace's payment terms and take the final fee up to the 70 million euros release clause. This would also allow Arsenal to have the finances to pay the fee and not fall foul of PSR rules, people. Apparently, the report has added Eze wants to join Arsenal, although Liverpool are lurking and considering their own offers, and Liverpool's a massive club and a great project under Arne Slot in its own right. Besides Victor Gyökeres, Arsenal are exploring other ways to improve their attack. Arsenal see Noni Madueke as a versatile player who can support Bukayo Saka on the right flank, as well as providing an option on the left. Other players for the left wing spot remain under consideration. Arsenal have undertaken significant background work on Rodrigo and have held preliminary talks about a possible move. Anthony Gordon is admired, while Ademola Lookman has been discussed, but thus far, Arsenal have been unwilling to match Atalanta's valuation. Arsenal have also looked at creative midfield players such as Eze. Much may depend on what Arsenal have left in the budget after any deal for Gyökeres is struck. Smash the like button, people. It remains to be seen if potential signings such as Rodrigo or Eze may be dependent on outgoings. Where do you lot stick with that? Bayern Munich have apparently joined Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal in the race to sign Eze after missing out on Florian Wirtz and Nico Williams, people. Once again, we're aiming to pay 3 installments of 20 million, and there is hope that a suitable deal can be worked out. In Berta we trust. And speaking of Berta, he's determined to sign Eze and will try to convince Crystal Palace, who might consider accepting a promising defender as part of the deal. While the player being considered as a makeweight in the deal is not known, Sunsport understands he's an emerging star who has played a handful of games for the first team. Eze's preference is understood to be Arsenal should he leave Palace. Sources close to the situation believe Liverpool may yet activate long-standing interest. No club has yet to make a concrete approach to Palace. So again, we probably need to calm down a bit, and we're hopeful we can do it in terms of an Eze deal without a substantial sell. Apparently, Josh Nichols is the Arsenal player being considered as a makeweight in the deal. I mean, I like him. Think he's a bit of a slow developer physically. Unfortunately, I think Timber and Benjamin White, I don't think you're getting anywhere anytime soon. I do think he's set for a good future, but if there's a clearer pathway at Crystal Palace or more of a plan, and most importantly, he could be used in a potential mate weight, get it done today. get it done yesterday. Arsenal target Rodrigo Mora move after Club World Cup scouting trip. Now, have I not said in jest? I mean, he's just signed a new deal. I don't think you need to leave Porto anytime soon. Have I not said this is a player I really want at the football club and he's going to have a great future? Probably a contender to get called up with Portugal for next year's World Cup. Surely we can slap Fabio Vieira to them, slap some money off the price tag and get that done. Apparently Arsenal and City were among the teams to send scouts to watch him. Now we could have been watching any of the players in the games Porto have played, much like him. We could have just been watching Fabio Vieira again because he's competed at that trophy. The 18-year-old's had a great 12 months. He's got 11 goals and 4 assists in 35 games. His current deal expires in 2030 and he has a 70 million euros release clause. He's wanted by Premier League clubs. I mean, the Portuguese influence at Manchester United's been strong. Their managers there. There's that. Arsenal and City have been name dropped. And I'm sure everybody in Europe, I think he's got an eye for goal. I think he's got great passing. I think he can play a number of roles. I genuinely think the sky is the limit for this young man, which is why I don't believe he needs to leave anytime soon. I would love him. I'd love João Hatto, but I just feel in the modern day, any 16, 17, 18, 19, even 20-year-old comes through and they must move. Experience can be overrated, but it can't be overstated. And I'm not going to say he's developing without pressure. Porto's a big club, but you get where I'm going with that, people. And he's a quality player. Anthony Gordon's camp has revealed that his agent was at Arsenal's training centre last week. While he shares an agent with Ethan Nwaneri, it is a player Arsenal love, and it would be strange for the wingers camp to be aware. I think they mean unaware there, people. Speaking of Nwaneri, apparently several sources have reported Arsenal are now confident Nwaneri is set to put pen to paper on a new long-term deal in the coming days. Nothing signed yet, but renewal now heading in a positive direction. Speaking of renewals, William Saliba, apparently courtesy of Alexis Bernard, who works for L'Equipe, which adds fuel to the fire, has received a substantial proposal from Arsenal to renew his contract. Arsenal and Brentford have exchanged all documents for Norgard. He's basically an Arsenal player. We're just waiting for official announcement, although he was pictured with Berta at Arsenal's training centre. Chelsea want in excess of 50 million for Noni Madueke. They believe the current market justifies the figure, given how much West Ham value Kudus and obviously Elanga's move to Newcastle. What do you lot make of Madueke, much less for 50 million? Rodrigo's agents apparently are in talks with 3 clubs, PSG, Manchester City and Arsenal, people, and we've undertaken significant background work on Rodrigo and have held preliminary talks about a possible move. Liverpool apparently one of the clubs that have contacted him as well. Arsenal not the only club to keep an eye on Rodrigo's situation. Other clubs include some from the Premier League are also keeping an eye. Everyone and their dog will be interested. Real Madrid, if they're not interested in Rodrigo and him staying and being a part of them, they're apparently not interested in finding a replacement for him in the summer, people. Martinelli is probably seen as someone that could raise funds and be a make weight. Fabrizio Romano said any links to Saudi Arabia are wide of the mark. Speaking of departures in the wide areas, Leandro Trossard could leave Arsenal this summer. Despite initial discussions over a contractual renewal, the player is happy at the club, but the arrival of Andrea Berto with new ideas could change his future. Arsenal could consider bids of 20 million euros. Speaking of wide men, Lookman has apparently been discussed as a potential option, but Arsenal so far unwilling to match his valuation. Would you sign him over a Madueke, for example? Apparently, Milan are waiting for Bayern Munich to make a bid for Rafa Leao. They have no intentions of selling him, but for the Bayern Munichs, the Barcelonas of this world, 85 million euros could tempt them into doing what some Milan fans might think is unthinkable. Should we pivot towards Leao? Do you think he's overrated? Where are you at? Intermediaries apparently have been in contact with Rodrigo for Arsenal, and apparently his preference is the Premier League, and his absolute priority is Arsenal in case a deal can be struck with Real Madrid. Personally, I believe that when I see it. Those within Arsenal are very happy with Mikel Arteta's progress at Arsenal. It's not thought that the external pressure to deliver is replicated internally, says David Ornstein. The one thing I would say, if fans get fed up and they start voting with their wallet, that is what ultimately indirectly led to Wenger going. It definitely led to Emre going, people. Tomiyasu's left, people. Just a bit of insight. Apparently, we began talks about his termination earlier in the summer, and we have been previously linked with Igor Paixao of Feyenoord. Apparently, he wants to join Marseille. Feyenoord won a record fee of 40 million euros. Bayern Leverkusen and Premier League clubs are in the running. And we've got another Gabriel, people. Gabriel Heinze, the former Manchester United player, has been announced as Mikel Arteta's as a first-team coach, people. He does bring a wealth of experience and passion, and he does like young players from what I see online. So let's hope he can do things.
I think it's like Easy, easy.